Oh, look at it. We popped up. I did it.
We did it on our own.
We did it on our
By we on our
own.
own, I mean you
Yay.
did it.
I did it. I'm a successful person. Oh, yes.
Explain why we're doing this on our own.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Crushed and Pressed Live. Yeah, it's Crushed and Pressed Live.
Yeah.
I'm Flip.
I'm Ange. This is our midweek check-in.
Yeah. Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day, and hey, happy birthday Eve to Flip. It's her
Yay.
birthday tomorrow.
Birthday Eve. I get to have my fun quarantine birthday.
Yes. She's old, you guys.
I am.
She's practically ancient, falling apart and decrepit.
I really, truly am falling apart.
So sad.
This is what it's like to be 26. You fall apart.
Yeah. This is when your body stops working.
Oh,
So
okay.
all of a sudden you'll get all the pain and all the like glaucomas and all that will start kicking in.
Oh, good. I mean, I was already pretty much blind, so you might as well just, take it all away from me now.
That's so bad. She's like, we.
I've accepted my fate.
God.
So, Ange, how's your
So
week
hey
been?
everybody. I was gonna say my week. Well, good news. My dog sitter messaged me yesterday, and dog sitter slash groomer, and said that she's going to be taking clients again, so she gets to fix Tump. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yay. Brittany,
Tump goes
I'm
back,
not.
She's going to get a real bath. in her life.
Brittany is laughing at me right now. All the glaucomas.
Brittany.
My mom is making me some cheesecake, so I'm gonna eat some cheesecake for my birthday. And my dad told me to go have a drink on him, so I did it, Dad. I bought the cheapest peach wine I could find at the store. So that was the cheapest peach wine.
So we're not throwing you a giant quinceañera then.
No, not until this is over. But Joey said that when this is over, we can throw the biggest birthday party housewarming ever.
Yes. Good. That's going to be fun.
It will be fun.
And it's going to be a theme party, and the costumes are going to be.
My theme party. Last year we did 90s.
Everybody start commenting with your ideas.
Yeah,
for
start
theme
commenting
parties.
with your ideas for theme parties. We could all dress up as different serial killers.
That is a fun one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
If you come to my house dressed as a clown, I will fucking fight you.
Oh, come on. That was exactly who I was going to do. Oh, do you know how many paintings of Pogo I've seen? I
Oh
can
my God.
absolutely Pogo the clown.
Did I tell you about all the
So-
paintings of Pogo that we saw?
Yes.
When we went to the
Well, you
crime
told-
museum? Oh my God, it's
them.
fucking
Told them.
terrifying.
We have people out there. Tell them about it.
So Joey and I went to Tennessee. This must have been 2008 the first time we went, or 2017 the first time we went. Well, anyway, we went to Tennessee and we went to the Alcatraz East Crime Museum, and we are in the serial killer room, and you kind of like, there's a sign up that says like, that's like a trigger warning. And it's like, trigger warning may not be suitable for people with XYZ phobias. Please take precautions. And I'm like, what the hell is back there? And then I thought about it and I went, oh shit, John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
John Wayne Gacy is back there. So I told Joey to go first because
He's back
clowns creep me the fuck out. So I told Joey to go back there first, and he walks back there and he comes back around. He goes, it's just a giant clown suit. I walked back there. Oh my God. Yeah, it was terrifying. Like, I wish, I don't know if I have a photo of it. Maybe I have a photo in my phone, and I'll just like pop it up right there in the camera so everybody can see it. But it was literally terrifying. What is this fly? But it was
This fly.
terrifying. And I've seen so many creepy pictures that he's drawn and shit. It scares the crap out of me. Oh, look, I scrolled right into my Alcatraz East photos.
Look, he's the one that I always tell Trevor, I'm like, if you decide for any reason that you want to start killing people, you have to let me know and give me a choice to get out of the marriage or not, because I am not going to be John Wayne Gacy's wife who had no idea that he was murdering all those boys in the basement and putting them in the
And
goddamn...
putting them in the floorboards.
I mean, and she really didn't know. I absolutely... Let me know you're going to do it. Let me get out of there first.
That place had to stink. Man, that place had to have been stinky
Had to.
AF.
And he's sitting here like, it's black mold. There has to be, what? I don't know.
Black mold
I
don't
don't know.
smell
You
like
think?
that.
No. Decaying bodies have a very specific scent. You guys, also, fun fact, if your spouse, loved one, family member tells you, you can't go into my office or workroom or whatever,
Why?
and there's locks on the door and you're not allowed, you need to find a way to break in there and get in that room and see what the hell is going on.
Because
'Cause
they're
something
probably
weird's going on.
murderers. So I don't think I
killing
have
someone.
a picture of his suit. I probably didn't get a picture of his suit because it creeped me the fuck out.
It's probably haunted.
Yeah. But what I do have is a picture of. So John Wayne Gacy was an artist.
Yes, Brittany, good thing I have tile.
Yeah. John Wayne Gacy was an artist and he painted all kinds of stuff. And I snapped a photo of his painting of Hollywood monsters. So let me just try to like put this up on the screen to where like people might be able to see it. But he basically
not
just
bad.
painted a photo of like Freddy Krueger and Frankenstein.
Not too bad.
No, not too bad. He did a good job. I'm proud of him, I guess. Whatever.
What are your thoughts on serial killers making money off of art and stuff while they're in jail?
I don't know, but John Wayne Gacy did some crazy shit. Oh, look, I have another one. He painted the Seven Dwarves while he was
Oh my God.
locked up. That's apparently something that he likes. It's also really creepy that I realize I have John Wayne Gacy's signature on my phone.
Dude. Wasn't Ed Gein the one that he voiceovered audio for kids?
No Black Lagoon. I think so.
Yeah, because I think one of them for sure does voiceover reading
Yeah,
for
I
audiobooks. And I believe
no,
it's
no,
for
no.
kids, and
Yeah, it is. It is him.
Okay. Kemper? Is it
Kemper, yes.
Thank you. Ed
His
Kemper, not
voice
Ed Gein.
is so like soothing.
No. He is such a sweetheart except for the
For a
murder.
fucking murderer. Yeah.
Sweet boy.
For a murderer, he was very sweet.
Yes.
People are probably listening to us like, what the heck are you guys talking about?
Hey, people are dark and twisty. Go listen. Go look him up.
Yeah.
Spend some time with Ed Kemper.
If you don't want to spend actual time with Ed Kemper and you just want to like maybe see a likeness of him, check out Mindhunter. And that'll kind of give you some insight into like really what he was like.
Because that's very accurate.
Yeah,
They
but-
were saying a
yeah.
very accurate portrayal.
Yeah, but truly, from everything that I've read on him, he was very personable.
I know.
Not charming, personable.
No.
Ted Bundy was
Yes.
charming. Ed Kemper was personable.
You would not want to go on a date with Kemper.
I would not want to go on a date with
not.
either of them, to be quite honest. with
I
you.
mean, no, yeah, we've been through that. Not my type.
No.
Bundy was not my type.
Not
There's
cute. Not a cute
well,
man.
I mean,
Not a cute
no.
man. He's
Look a
not a
little
cute
snaky.
man. People think Richard Ramirez is cute. I don't see it.
Oh no. Hey, Jennifer. Hi. Okay, you guys. You ready to dive into this shit?
Some fun
Okay.
shit.
Can I give my little intro and then you start doing your thing?
Absolutely.
Okay, today we are talking, thanks. Today we are talking about the unicorn killer. Woo! In 1970, the very first Earth Day celebration was underway, and at the helm, according to himself, was Einhorn, one horn, unicorn. He had people believing that he had created the first Earth Day rally held in Pennsylvania, and while he may have been all about saving the Earth, this celebration wasn't actually his idea, though he was an active member of many anti-war groups throughout the 60s and remained an activist until he fled the United States in 1977.
Yes.
Tell us about this guy.
Okay. Oh, Joey said he's on his way home, so.
Oh, good. Y'all, we set all this up by ourselves without Joey
I did
today.
it myself, and I'm so proud of myself.
You're very lucky that you can hear and see both of us right now. This is a
I
possibility
didn't
that
know if it was going to happen or not, to be honest. All right. So, Ira Einhorn. Ira was born in 1940 to a middle-class Jewish family in Pennsylvania. There's really not too much said about his youth, but By the time he was 20, he became a full-blown left-wing radical member of the counterculture. A full-blown left-wing radical member of the counterculture. That is a mouthful.
Yes, that's a lot of things to be. He went weird.
And he took his Jewish family and he went.
Yeah. Yeah, he said no.
Yeah, he was like, no, that doesn't work for me. He was actually named the head hippie of Pennsylvania. Very cool. He was a big burly man who barely showered and was completely unkempt. But he was basically mostly known for protesting the Vietnam War.
You got a picture?
Do I have? Yeah, we have pictures of him, right? I think so. Let's find me a beautiful picture of Ira Einhorn. He's a beautiful man.
I did not change the names of these photos.
That's okay. I think I got him. I'm going to put him right in between us. Look at him. Look at that big burly man. Just unshowered, unkempt, just chilling in his beanie.
No. Oh, I know which one you put up. Yeah, there you go.
He probably smells bad too.
He is what? The number one hippie.
He is the number one hippie. He is the head hippie of Pennsylvania. Anyway, Einhorn was said to be extremely intelligent. He spoke eloquently, and he was admired by many and regarded as the well, really, he named himself. He just comes up with names for himself at this point.
Yes.
He was the guru, very hipster. Yes, he was hipster before being hipster was cool, pretty.
Oh, yeah.
He regarded himself as the self-proclaimed guru of peace and love. Sure.
He's a self-proclaimer. Let's just start it out there. It gets better.
Every title that the man has, he gave to him damn self. They came from him. There's maybe one or two that he didn't, like the head hippie thing. He didn't give that to himself. They just called him that. But everything else, it was himself. He did it himself. Okay, let me take his face off the screen. Ira attended the University of Pennsylvania, where he spent most of his time with the yippie crowd. That's basically like rich people. Like he was a hippie who hung out with rich people. But he was a wonderful student who, despite his pot smoking, LSD, and acid dropping, free loving ways, he sold out and became a what? I'm telling it like it is.
Sounds like a bunch of fun.
Yeah, he sounds really like a lot of fun up until like the rest of the story gets told. He chose to sell out. He was a sellout. He became a part of the corporate crowd where he would basically work in agencies to talk to the hippie equivalent of Tiger King, essentially. Yes.
Thank you, John, for chiming in. Welcome. Hi, Leah. I see that you're in here too. Hello.
He would work with agencies and talk to them about computer science and like physics and all kinds of fancy quantum physics type shit. And he created blueprints that were sold to Fortune 500 companies for them to be able to create more ecologically efficient like buildings and things that would basically assist these companies in saving money while still being like ecologically aware. So in his hippie loving ways, he was basically like, here, let me show you how to basically go green. Einhorn was so intelligent that he actually taught at Harvard for a short while. And he taught at Harvard in 77 and 78. That just lets you know how calm, cool, and collected this man was.
Yeah, right.
1970, Ira Einhorn was a speaker at the inaugural Earth Day celebration in Pennsylvania. And this is where he basically started telling everybody like he was the creator and leader of Earth Day. But basically everybody else is like, no, that's not true.
I've been around.
He's just some dude who was here talking. Basically, like they wanted to have this Earth Day celebration in Pennsylvania. And they asked him to talk at the celebration. And that's where he's like, oh, look, I founded this. I created this.
Yes.
No, they just asked you to talk here.
Ew, I also found that he was the self-styled Prince of Flower Power.
Yes, he was.
Good, good, good,
He's a
good.
great guy. All right, so next up is Miss Holly Maddox. Holly was born in 1947 in Texas.
And we have a picture of her too.
Yes, we do. Let me grab Holly's photo. She's beautiful.
Yay, Texas.
And every story we have that talks about Texas, Anne's just going to jump in and be like, Texas.
Texas.
So that's Holly. I actually managed to find a website where her classmates were telling stories about her. It'll be in our show notes. We're going to start putting our show notes on Discord for anybody who wasn't aware of that. So it'll be in our show notes. But her classmates basically described her as smart, talented, and beautiful. She was a cheerleader. She was voted most likely to succeed. She was voted ideal girl. And she was salutatorian of her graduating class. And before you even ask me, no, I don't know what the hell ideal girl means. I guess maybe in...
But look how cute she is. Isn't she cute?
She's adorable. I don't know what ideal girl means. Like maybe she's like the ideal girl that you want to like marry or something. I don't know what it means.
Probably well-rounded. Like she can cook, she can be smart, she can do all the things.
I guess. I don't know. It was the 50s and 60s at this time when she was in high school. Yeah. So like I don't know what ideal girl means. But back then they had a meaning for it, okay? And it was something that you could be voted for. It was a superlative, I don't know. But after she graduated from high school, she attended Bryn Mawr, where she graduated with a degree in English, and she spent.
That's what I did.
Oh,
Got me nowhere.
Jesus Christ!
Let's be honest, guys. Unless you're going pre-med or pre-law, English major is not the way. It's not
the way to go. Yeah. She spent all of her time after college basically traveling the world and working odd jobs so she could continue to travel. And a lot of her high school friends that were in the kind of the feed that I found, a lot of her high school friends state that they all like traveled vicariously through her. And that she would often send them back like little trinkets from the places that she traveled to. So they talked about like little like orbs that she sent back for them, or like paintings, things like that she would send back to all of her friends and family back in Texas. And then eventually she turned her energy towards the women's liberation movement. If you're thinking about like 1970s, women's lib movement had a lot to do with like women being able to have access to birth control, women really just fully being in control of their bodies, the kind of shit that we still fight for today in 2020.
Yep.
Anyway.
Times have kind of changed.
Sure. I mean, at least you can get birth control now, right? It's not free. You'll still have to pay for it because it's not medically necessary. But
Yep. But
that's neither here nor there. In 1972, Holly met Ira. She was drawn to him as a political icon and a nonviolent protester who believed in the same things that she believed in. Holly was, back then she wasn't a vegan, she was a vegetarian. So Holly was a vegetarian. She had this strong belief in the women's lib movement, strong belief in protecting other people's rights, animal rights, no war, things like that. And he believed in everything that she believed in. And I mean, she really didn't know that he presented himself as this nonviolent, really loving person, but he was actually fucking awful. So their relationship was described by her family and friends as traumatic and tumultuous. He was extremely violent towards her over their 5 years of their relationship, just that he had been with like all of his other girlfriends. Basically, other girlfriends stated that he would strangle them, like he just extremely violent towards them. And he became increasingly more violent over the course of their relationship, to the point that like these women were terrified to break up with him. And when they did try to leave, as you'll learn later, it just got really, really out of control.
Mm-hmm.
In 1977, Holly was like, yo, fuck you. As anybody should. She was like, yo, fuck you. I'm tired of your bullshit. And she up and left. She moved to New York and she started this new relationship with this guy. His name was Saul. I cannot remember his last name, but his first name was Saul. What his last name was doesn't matter at this point.
I was saying I don't have it. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. His name was Saul. And he was really, really kind and sweet and loving. And she moved in with him. And she called Ira Einhorn from New York in her new place with Saul. And she was like, yo, we're done.
Yeah.
Which I guess
Bye.
at the time was probably the smartest thing to do based off of how violent he was towards other people. I guess it made sense.
Yeah.
Ira flew into a rage, of course, and demanded that she come back to the home that they shared and collect all of her belongings before he threw them all out in the street, and she lost everything. On September 9th, 1977, Holly went back to the apartment that she shared with Ira to gather the rest of her belongings, and she was never heard from or seen again.
Yep.
Holly's family, of course, becomes very, very worried because she doesn't go too long without checking in with them. They said that it's, no more than like 2 weeks at a time that she would go without checking in. So they were really, really concerned. So they, of course, contacted the Philadelphia Police Department. And when they questioned Ira, he basically said that she went down to, they call it a co-op, but it's just a shop. She went down to a local market to go pick up some sprouts and tofu for lunch, and she just never came back.
Jeez.
So, of course, the police officers basically just thought, like, she's an adult. She just left on her own.
It's also, what, the 70s?
Yeah, it's the 70s. And a lot of
the time of the runaway, apparently, because that's all a lot of these cases, you guys, what you'll hear is, especially if they were even, like, high school age, they're adult women, young men, stuff like that. It's always, this person's missing and we're really concerned. Oh, they probably just ran away. Why don't you give it some time?
But you also got to think, in the 60s and 70s and that free love movement and things like that, a lot of people were really just hitchhiking. Like, they'd want to go someplace and they just hitchhike back to wherever it was. Of course, Ira basically was like, oh, she went down to go pick up some sprouts and whatever for lunch. She never came back. And it doesn't really matter anyway because she broke up with me. So what do I care? She's probably in New York with her boyfriend. Of course, she wasn't there. Like,
right. Yeah.
The police were like, we have no reason to suspect anything happened to her. Maybe she just left. And our parents went and hired a private investigator named Bob Stevens because they were like, no, that doesn't cut it. Like, she wouldn't just disappear. She was extremely close to her friends and her family back in Texas. Like, she wouldn't just up and leave. So Ira lived in an apartment complex, basically in this area that's very close to all the colleges. And there's a lot of, like, younger students living below him, above him, and the next building's over. So a student who lived below him said that he heard this, like, blood-curdling scream and some heavy banging upstairs. And he didn't think anything of it because he lives in this apartment that's in this college town. There's a lot of fraternities that live in these apartments, a lot of fraternity brothers in these apartments who are throwing parties all the time. Yep. So he's not thinking anything of it. He's just assuming, like, oh, they're just throwing some loud-ass party upstairs, whatever.
Jeez.
Don't know what part of blood-curdling scream happens at a fraternity party. I've been to quite a few in my day, and I don't remember any blood-curdling screams.
No. He's down there like, someone just poured ice water on some girl. No. No. There was some scream happening. Investigate. But yeah. So he did not.
So he did nothing about it until the private investigator came to talk to him about it. Because then some weird shit started happening. And when I read this, in my head, I immediately thought of the hash-slinging slasher from SpongeBob.
Okay.
Because
I'm like, from what?
From SpongeBob, the hash-slinging slasher.
Yeah, I'm not that well versed in SpongeBob. I'm
Oh
sorry.
man.
I'll find out next time we see Flip, I'm sure.
Yeah. So there was a strange odor that was emitting that was coming throughout the building, and they couldn't figure out what the hell the smell was. And then all of a sudden, the ceiling and the walls just began oozing.
No. No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, the ceiling and the walls just began oozing.
That's the worst. That's the worst.
As the #slinging slasher story says, the walls will ooze green slime. Literally fucking happened to these people. And the guy's roommate is like trying to like clean this ooze off of the ceiling and walls, and it just keeps fucking coming. So eventually he calls the plumber and the landlord, and he's like, yo, what the fuck?
What's with this ooze?
And they go upstairs to Ira's apartment. Ira has the doors like padlocked, and he refuses to open up. So now at this point, the private investigator takes all his information and turns it over to Detective Chitwood with the police department in Philadelphia. And they go out there. And they're like, yo, what the fuck is going on? And police get in, and finally Ira's like, fine, you can come in, but there's nothing here. John goes, it's okay. They always ooze green slime.
Meanwhile, I'm like, thank God I don't live in an apartment anymore. Also, Flip, how's that new apartment going?
It's great. I'm on the top floor, so the people below me, I would be the one oozing green slime. Yeah.
Okay.
In case you didn't know, John's comment was 100% another SpongeBob reference.
Jesus Christ. I did not know. Thank you,
Yes.
John. Also, hi, Bo. Hi, Marissa. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. So finally he lets them in, and the very first thing that Detective Chitwood checks is a closet that's like right above the spot that's like oozing green slime. So he checks the closet, and he like gets this faint smell of decaying animals. But then he's like, okay, nothing suspect, just some decaying animals. And then he notices that there's a small trunk. They called it like a train trunk or something. I don't know what that...
I was going to say, we have one in our house. They're a mix of metal and wood, and it's like around, it looks like a pirate treasure trunk kind of situation, but bigger. And we used to keep like all of our old family photo albums in there, or blankets, throw pillows, shit like that, and use it as a coffee.
I have something similar to that I got in like college. Maybe that's like what it is. Okay.
Kind of like a hope chest, but not really.
Okay. So
yeah,
they called it a train trunk or whatever, but he basically had this train trunk in his room that was locked with the padlock, and the officers get a crowbar and just pry it open, and they find like newspapers in the trunk that are dated from August and September of 1977. Let's remember that she went missing in September of 1977. And at this point, it's 1979 that they're finally gathering enough evidence to go check this house. So they find newspapers from August and September of 1977 on the top layer. And then they find another layer, and it's just all like styrofoam, like packing peanuts. And then eventually Detective Chitwood starts digging, and he pulls this thing out, and he's like, what the hell is this? And it's a hand. And he pulls a hand out, and then he continues to dig and dig and dig, and he finds Holly's mummified body in this trunk.
It's your worst day of work ever. You reach into a trunk thinking you're reaching through paper and foam, and all of a sudden there's an arm coming
pull out
out.
an arm. Yeah,
It's
so he reaches
NCIS.
in there and he pulls out her mummified body. Basically, what he was trying to do is create a human compost box. Because I guess he thought...
Earth Day.
Yeah, because Earth Day. Because, I mean, listen, you can compost anything. Trash.
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah.
Dead people. Anything you
Yeah.
want, guys. I didn't tell you that, though.
Real quick side note. Hi, Linda. How's it going? I love you. I miss you. Tell my dad I said hi.
Hi, Linda.
That's my stepmom. She just
Hi,
chimed
Linda.
in right at the time for you to talk about pulling a body out of a trunk.
Yeah, so you can compost anything, you guys, and that is really the moral of the story. It is Earth Day. Don't be a human trash person.
Yeah.
Create compost boxes
Compost.
and trash
Compost.
other things.
Yeah.
Please don't compost humans, and please don't tell anybody, like, if you ever like commit a murder and you're watching this, please don't tell anybody that we told you to compost humans.
Just get right up on her microphone to make sure you guys know she's deadly serious.
I'm so serious. Please do not compost on humans. I didn't tell you that.
Don't.
Anyway,
Oh my god.
literally probably the craziest thing I've ever heard of, but whatever.
That's a way. Hey, at least he didn't. There were other people that, you know, barbecued their dead partners. So
Yeah.
at least he didn't grill and barbecue her, feed her to anybody. He just kept her.
Oh yes,
and
like
compost.
Mr. McClenney. We'll talk about him another day.
Good. Good
Um,
times.
So Ira is, of course, standing right next to the officers as they pull her mummified body out of the compost box, and they arrest him.
Good.
And he gets arrested, and all of his supporters are like, "Oh my God, he did not do this. He is a fantastic." You can compost dead people as long as you have 2 years and no one living underneath you.
I mean, physically, literally, yeah.
I mean,
But you
it
shouldn't.
it didn't work out too well because he fucking mummified her. Like,
Yeah, she didn't exactly compost.
yeah,
She kept.
Yeah, she didn't compost. Also, the floors were oozing green slime. So I don't know if it worked.
Nope.
Like,
Nope. Nope.
maybe that was just all the other trash that was oozing. Also,
But
aren't
what
you?
happens to a body when you put it in a box? So I'm kidding.
I don't know, but it's
She's not
nasty.
sure.
Yeah.
It's not what happens when you put it in water.
Definitely not what happens when you put it in water. Also, I thought you were supposed to put compost boxes outside.
Yes.
So he didn't
It
do
also
too well.
shouldn't be in a well, in that kind of trunk, it would compost itself anyway, based on what it's made up. Whatever, this
Right.
is the whole thing. So they arrest him on the spot. Everybody says,
Yeah.
"No, he's innocent." We
Yeah,
like
they're like, no, he's innocent. He's a hippie, and he would never hurt a human being, let alone any other living creature.
absolutely.
Like, no freaking way.
Nope.
Um,
Just all of his ex-girlfriends that he beat, but besides them,
So he gets this super fantastic defense attorney who ends up becoming like a senator at some point. That's just like a side note there. But he gets this defense attorney who ends up becoming a senator. And the defense attorney is able to get him a bail. So what is it? The bond's like 40,000, but of course, because it's a bail, it's 4,000. You pay 10%.
yeah,
Another fine tidbit that you should all know. If anybody ever gets arrested, you only pay 10% of what the bond is.
yes,
Don't get arrested. Anyway, Pennsylvania's like, we don't let murderers out, but this guy, he's a cool dude. We'll let him out. And Einhorn is, of course, like, listen, this was a setup because of all of my anti-war research and all of this, like, fantastic stuff that I'm doing to save the environment. This was a setup. I am clearly being framed by the CIA and the KGB.
foil hat.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me more about this.
I am being framed by the CIA and the KGB because I am protesting the war.
Oh my god.
I am doing great things, and the CIA is like, no, man, shut the hell up.
Do you have another picture in here somewhere
Of him?
that we can throw out for that? Yeah. There's got to be that arrest picture, the old one.
The one where he's an old man? Oh, no, this
No,
one.
the young one. Yeah, the original one.
Well, it's both, I think. It's him as an old person and him as a young person.
Ah, well, it's fine.
So he's up.
Spoiler alert: he gets arrested twice.
Yeah. He's like, listen, y'all, like, all this acid has gotten to my brain, and the KGB is after me.
Yep.
And of course, everybody's like, hello, this man would not kill his girlfriend and then put her in a box at the foot of his bed. Come on. Who the hell does that?
Yeah.
Crazy people, that's who.
This guy.
And then all of a sudden, like, all of this evidence begins piling up against him. Like, he's got 2 friends who testified that he asked them to help him dispose of this trunk, and they just refused.
Sounds like he did it.
And then he has his 2 girlfriends who stated that upon breaking up with him, both of them ended up in the hospital. He strangled one of them and smashed a Coke bottle over the other one's head.
Jesus Christ.
So it's the 70s. The Coke bottle was glass. So he smashed a glass bottle over this woman's head. And basically you start finding out that this quote unquote peaceful protester is like a violent monster.
Yeah.
So, and he also has tons of like friends who, friends. We're putting friends in quotation marks because if your friends are testifying against you, like,
oh, so this guy had friends.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Tons of his friends start coming forward and stating that Ira really didn't give a shit about anyone. He just wanted to be famous. Could you imagine coming home every day and having to look at that trunk knowing what's inside? I mean, I doubt he ever had anyone. Yeah, just him and his fucking trunk.
Yeah.
Yo.
Just him walking by Panic going, how's it going in there? Like, ugh.
That is awful.
Well, and that's one where I'm sure in his little brain he compartmentalized that. This is done. Trunk is closed. Not going to worry about it.
But
everything's fine.
You literally cannot ever have anybody in your house ever again. Like, your house smells like fucking death.
Well, and meanwhile, you've asked 2 people to help you get rid of that thing.
Yeah, and the floors are fucking oozing right now. Like,
keep saying oozing. Say it one more time.
Oozing. Yeah, the floors are oozing, and your house smells like death, and you've got this fucking trunk with a mummified body in it. You can't invite people to your house.
Let's try it and find out.
I'm not mummifying a human person.
Come on, Joey was supposed to help, and he didn't. He deserves it.
Okay, so you want me to mummify him?
Yes.
We're gonna have to delete this episode from the archives. I'm just kidding. Anyway, Ira doesn't give a fuck about anybody. He's like, I want to get famous and everybody's gonna know who I am. So eventually, after he has this, hi Carrie Mae.
Hi Carrie Mae. How's it going? How are the kids? What are you guys up to today?
I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy and relaxing and meditating and doing all kinds of wonderful, happy, peaceful things.
In the meantime, welcome. We just talked about the body that this guy was keeping inside of a trunk, and it was oozing into his neighbor's apartment.
Yes, he was attempting to compost her body. Happy Earth Day. So they started saying that, like, once this original trial had started, he had girlfriends afterwards. Are y'all just getting drunk and talking about? Kinda.
Yeah. This is every Sunday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
Get ready. You can join in. It's great.
Terry Mae says she's bored. Well, you know what? Grab a glass of wine and listen to our fucked up story about this man. Yes.
Okay.
He had girlfriends
he had
afterwards.
other girlfriends afterwards. Maybe he didn't invite them over. Maybe he went to their places.
I don't think he had any girlfriends prior to.
Right. Because he definitely has one when in a minute we'll talk about.
Tequila, yes. Sip some tequila. Yeah, I don't think he had any girlfriends prior to the rest of the fuckery that he does. But once this first trial happens, people start avoiding him on the streets. Like, people would run up to him and give him hugs and stuff and be like, oh my God, you're Ira Einhorn. Mm-hmm. People would run up to him and give him hugs on the street. And, like, now people are not doing this anymore.
Yep.
And one of his friends basically said, like, he was an arrogant, selfish bastard. Like, now that people aren't running up to him on the street, people are avoiding him. He's like, ugh, I'm so worried that because of this case, I will never be known as the Ira Einhorn again. I'm never going to be famous again.
Oh my God. You killed a woman. You killed a woman.
He wasn't convicted at that time, Ange.
I don't care. He killed a
Michael Einhorn.
Aw, yeah.
All right, Ange. This is where Ange was gonna take over.
Okay, so he paid that bail, right? And got
Yes,
out.
he didn't pay it. Somebody else paid it for him. There was a woman
Yeah.
that he was really good friends with. She had a really wealthy husband,
I found it.
and you found it. I can't
Yeah,
remember what her
in
name
80
is.
was it when in 81, just before his murder trial was supposed to begin, he skipped bail and fled to
Mm-hmm.
Europe. And he lived there for the next 17 years and married a Swedish woman named Annika Floden. And then in Pennsylvania, as Einhorn had already been arraigned, the state convicted him in absentia of Maddox's in 1996. So
Yep.
this all happened in the 70s, and this is happening in 96 finally.
Yep.
So in 96, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. This is where shit gets tricky. So he was arrested in 97, and he'd been living under the fake name Eugene Malone. Okay.
Can you repeat
Of
that
all
for
the
us,
names.
Eugene? What?
Eugene Malone, Mallon.
Okay, your mic cut
Malone.
out a little bit. That's all.
Oh, I'm sorry, Eugene Malone. Um, okay, but this extradition process is a little more complex than they had initially envisioned it. So, under the extradition treaty between France and the United States, either country can refuse extradition under certain circumstances. And Einhorn used multiple avenues to avoid that extradition. So, although he was not sentenced to, his defense attorneys argued that he would face the death penalty if he returned to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. France, like a lot of other countries, has gotten rid of the death penalty. They will not extradite defendants to jurisdictions do retain the death penalty
Yep.
without assurance that they will not seek or apply the death penalty. So, Pennsylvania authorities had to point out that when the murder occurred, the state did not practice the death penalty. This is all tricky. At the time, they didn't practice it. So Einhorn could not be executed because the state and federal constitution forbid ex post facto law. So his next strategy involved the French law and European Court of Human Rights, which required a new trial when the defendant was tried in absentia, which he was,
Mm-hmm.
and was unable to present his defense. So, on this basis, the Court of Appeals in France rejected the extradition request. So, following that court's decision, 35 members of Congress sent a letter to the French president. Oh shit, Jacques S. Chirac. I am not good at this.
I think
And
that's
asked
just Jacques.
Jacques
Yeah.
Chirac. I am not good at
Jacques
CH.
Chirac. It's cool. I like it.
Jesus, that sounds horrible. Jacques Chirac. JACQUESCHIRAC. Y'all, I'm Hispanic. This is not my area. However, okay, look, so 35 members of Congress sent a letter to the French president asking him for Einhorn's extradition. However, under the French doctrine of the separation of powers, which was invoked in this, the president cannot give orders to courts and does not intervene in extradition. So that was pointless. So in 1998, in order to secure his extradition, the Pennsylvania legislature had to pass a bill nicknamed the Einhorn Law, which is real fun because if you missed the beginning, Einhorn is what, German for unicorn?
Yes.
So we've got now a unicorn law allowing defendants convicted in absentia to request another trial. So in another delay tactic, Einhorn's attorneys criticized this bill as unconstitutional and tried to get the French courts to once again deny the extradition on the grounds that the law would be inappropriate. But the French court ruled itself unable to evaluate this constitutionality of foreign laws because they and then another point of friction with the United States was that the court freed Einhorn under police supervision as French laws put restrictions on remand and the imprisonment of suspects awaiting trial. So Einhorn became the focus of very intense surveillance by the French police. Good. So finally, the matter went before the prime minister. I am not Lionel Jospin. Lionel's a great name. Anyways, so the matter went before him, and then after having been approved by the court, they were ordered by the executive, and then the French Green Party stated that Einhorn could not be extradited until it was certain that the Einhorn law could not. So he, Jospin, rejected the claims and issued an extradition decree, and he litigated and all this other bullshit. And finally, he ended up in the United States on July 20th, 2000. Okay. So he's back in the United States in 2001. This
Mm-hmm.
murder took place in the 70s, yeah?
Yeah.
Guys, it takes a long time to get their stuff through the courts, and it takes a long time if you've crossed over into another country and you're hiding and all this other bullshit. Keep that in mind.
Right.
So if you're gonna commit a murder, you should flee the country.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy, Einhorn, take the stand in his own defense because he's one of those charming motherfuckers. He claimed again that Maddox was murdered by CIA agents who attempted to frame him due to his investigations into the Cold War and psychotronic. What?
John says you have to wonder what's going through his head the entire time they're trying to extradite him. Like, he's got to know he's fucked. It's just a matter of time. Literally, like he's probably like, what can I do today to set this back a little bit?
Let me comb through here. There's got to be a loophole fucking somewhere. And he did find every goddamn loophole. Okay. Guys, after 2 hours of deliberation, just 2 hours, the jury convicted Einhorn on October 17th, 2002, concluding the month-long trial. That means they know his ass is guilty.
Yeah.
If it that little amount of time, you guys. So the following day, he was sentenced to mandatory life term without the possibility of parole, and he began serving his sentence at SC Houtsdale. And in April 2016, he was transferred to SCI Laurel Highlands, a minimum security prison that provides care for inmates with health, because at this point he's old. And then on April 3rd, 2020, that's a couple weeks ago, you guys.
Yeah.
That was just, look at your calendar. That was but a handful of days ago.
Yeah.
He died at age 79. Yay! In the Pennsylvania State Correctional Institute at Laurel Highlands.
Good.
His death was reported to be of natural causes and not related to COVID-19. It says that on the article.
I like that we have to specify that his death is not related to COVID-19. His death is solely just related to him being a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Karma's a bitch, and it will find you, friends.
So, okay, so this is the story. What? I know that there's a couple of books that talk about this shit, but also, of course,
books and movies, and
I think we have 2 movie posters that I put in there.
Yes. So let me pull up. This was the first one I have.
Thank you, Kim.
I don't know who any of these people are in this movie.
Naomi Watts?
In this movie?
Yeah. I think she plays a girl. Is it Naomi Watts?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I have no idea.
Hold on. The Hunt for the Unicorn Killer is a thriller drama TV film, of course, that aired on NBC in 1990, part miniseries. It's got Kevin Anderson, Naomi Watts, and Tom Skerritt. Skirt. I can't say his last name. Anderson plays the 1970s activist and purported Earth Day co-founder Ira Horn, who is charged with and later convicted of in absentia of the murder of his girlfriend Holly Maddox, played by Naomi. And Skerritt plays Maddox's father, who tries to bring Einhorn to justice. So that's a fun little 2-parter to watch if you got time and you like made for TV. There you go.
So that's them.
There is always a made for TV something about this stuff.
Tom Skerritt? I think it's Skerritt.
I'm sure he's much more famous than I'm aware of. He's one of those guys I see and go, oh, he's from that.
Yeah. Also starring Naomi Watts. I like that they had to say it like that.
Back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I was going to say, what else was there? There's a bunch of books that mention this and go over this. And then a lot of our sources, Wikipedia. And then I put...
Time Magazine had a really large article on this man prior to his conviction in 2002.
Mm-hmm. Vocal.media.com was where I got a lot of my stuff on the Unicorn Killer, who is Ira. But this is one that we were just sitting there and we were looking at for this Wednesday. We're like, we know we want to do a mini episode. What do we want to do it on? Our you put up the meme.
I did. I put up the name.
Because we want you guys to give us feedback, but we still haven't gotten any. So if you guys have any good ideas about different cases you'd really
Right.
like to hear about, local stuff to you, if you have any personal stories about your hometown murders, your family stories involving any kind of true crime or ghosty shit, we'll take ghost stories. It's fine.
Definitely.
Send those to us. We want to know. We can share them on these little mini ones on Wednesdays. But we looked it up and we're like, what is Wednesday? It's Earth Day. Are there any Earth Day murders? And was it Joey's like, there's a unicorn
No, that
killer?
was
We're like,
me.
"Excuse you."
I just
That was you?
stumbled upon it. I was like, oh, we did an Easter murder last week. Let's do an Earth Day murder. And I'm thinking, like, there's something called the Earth Day murder. Not that the dude who fucking says that he founded Earth Day
Founded Earth Day.
was a murderer. That was. Listen, the world is weird, you guys. And the moral of the story here is that you should take care of the earth and compost whatever the hell it is that you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Do some, what is it, a trash pickup or something like that? Like clean up that sludge that's
Yeah.
coming through your neighbor, the ceiling from your neighbor's place.
Yeah,
Clean
do
up
that.
sludge.
You should, what you need to do is make sure that you clean up the sludge from in your own apartment first, and then go downstairs and be like, oops, sorry, and then scrub it off the ceiling and walls, because that's just kind.
Absolutely. We also learned that these kind of trunks are not liquid proof at all. You should
No.
really invest in something more sturdy.
Yeah. Those like Rubbermaid boxes, if you're going to murder somebody, definitely put them in a Rubbermaid box.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe bury it like half down in the ground anyway. There's lots of different ways, I'm sure.
Yeah.
My favorite way. Oh, I was gonna say tangent time. My favorite when I was little, I watched a lot of Matt, because that was on TV. It was it was the 90s, so I watched a lot of Matt. And I remember being in like, I don't know, 5th grade or so, and telling my mom, I've planned the perfect murder that I can get away with, and she's like, okay. Care to explain? Because I'm a child, and I was like, yes, I've watched a lot of Matlock. I know that like they'll find you with fingerprints and hairs,
Right.
and different stuff like that. So here's my plan. First of all, you have to get a stranger because you can't kill someone they'll find out it was you.
Right.
So I have to kidnap a stranger for chloroform them, put them in the car because I'm little and I'm gonna need help. So then I take them over to a place that I have dextered out. So you cover everything in plastic, and then you pull that body in there, and then you cut them all up, drain that blood, and then you have all the 5-gallon plastic. You separate all the pieces into like 15 of those buckets, fill it with cement on the top, let it settle, and you put all the plastic wrapping, all the weapons, everything in cement the top. And then you take them out to the man-made jetties off of Corpus Christi and just drop them down there. And now it's part of the jetties, and you'll never find that body ever again.
John says we're in
it's a
Florida. Just feed you to local swamp wildlife. It's just the circle of life.
There's a lot of gators out of the swamp right there down
Kim
the road.
says she wishes she could hit haha. Listen, if I were to murder somebody, I would disintegrate their body. I would get some acid and just fucking melt their shit up.
But in what? Your tub?
No, in a Rubbermaid Tupperware thingy.
Oh my god, will that hold the acid?
Yeah. The bathtub
Sure.
won't. It'll disintegrate the bathtub, yeah.
I know, because I saw that in a movie. Or did I see that in
To be honest with you,
Breaking Bad?
Breaking Bad, they do it. No, to
Okay.
be honest with you, I have had this conversation multiple times with people, and this just seems like a weird ass conversation to have with people. But if I were to murder somebody, I would inject them with air.
You've told me this.
Yes, because I mean, these. Yes, exactly. It also works in Ozarks. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I were to murder somebody, I would inject them with air. Because what that does is it stops their heart. If there's an air bubble in their bloodstream, it'll stop their heart. So it'll make it look like they had a heart attack.
Ugh.
Not that I would know that.
I'd stab him with an icicle. That way the weapon melts away.
I know. Breaking Bad. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
No. Yeah, I would stab somebody. I would inject them with air. So it looks like they had a heart attack.
Flip's family, if you start dropping of heart attacks, we know that it was Flip injecting you with air.
I would also
Smiles how big.
I would also inject you in a weird spot. Like, I wouldn't like hit your like veins in your arms and shit. You don't shoot up. I know that. Like, I would do it in weird spots. Like the veins between the webbing on your fingers and your toes.
Oh, gross. No.
Oh man, Joey's home.
Joey's home. Oh, great time to run. Oh no, he needs to give us a final thought since he's home. That's good. Hey, so how was that pizza?
It was delicious. John says the best murder weapon is ice sharpened to a point, not traceable whatsoever.
See? That's what I'm saying.
Hi, Joey. John,
Hey.
Joey's home. Change the topics. Yeah, the KGB are on to you.
They're listening.
Right?
They're like, these girls are talking about active, good ways to kill people.
Hi, Joey. What did you spill on your shirt?
Oh, God.
Oh, I'm glad that you're sharing your plans with us. Well, now you know that, like, I'm not the kind of person that would actually murder somebody. I wouldn't tell you if I was going to commit a murder. Jeez.
Oh, come on. I've got better ideas than what I just shared. Please.
No, what?
So
I would never commit a murder. So, Ange, I know we said we were going to play games with our... Joey said better not be him.
He missed the earlier conversation.
He did miss the earlier
Sorry, but
conversation. You're
use
next,
this test
Joey.
if we can compost a person.
Yeah, we're trying to see if we can compost people.
We just need from like his shin. If we could just have from the knee down.
Yeah, what about just from the knee down? We just need...
It's for
Yeah,
science.
It's for science.
All people are biodegradable.
What?
All of people are biodegradable.
Joey says all people are biodegradable.
That's my thought of the day.
I mean, technically, yes.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. So, Ange, I know we were supposed to play a game today, and I didn't get a chance to post anything.
Okay.
But I don't know if we should play a game, or maybe we should just, get to know people. So,
Yeah.
I found this great get to know each other thing.
Yeah?
So, Angela,
Yes.
which university/college did you attend?
Oh, hey. Good thing I went to one. I went to Sam Houston State University in Texas, where the prisons are and where they kill people.
Oh, good. Well, if we eat
Yeah.
lots and lots of food with preservatives, then that might preserve your body, Kim. Who knows?
Can you imagine? You replaced, you are now like a preservative. Oh.
I'm just gonna like eat lots of ramen and see what happens to me.
Possible. That's me. Apparently, McDonald's burgers, if you leave them out, they don't like rot or anything.
It's fucking
Same thing with
disgusting.
the nugs.
Yeah,
They're still good.
but it's just
though.
so good. I disappeared down an internet rabbit hole last night at 5 a.m. and I found a new case you guys should research. Ryan Singleton disappearance. Where's my notepad?
I've heard.
Oh shit.
I'm not super familiar, but I've heard that name.
Here's my notepad.
Yes.
I'm writing it down.
We're writing that down.
Ryan Singleton. Just my school was a prison too.
Yeah, in case you guys missed last episode on Sunday, we were talking about in very casual passing. So my school, Sam Houston State, when I went, there were two majors that they really pumped out of there, and it was teachers. It was originally founded as a training school for teachers, and then correctional officers, because they have a huge criminal justice program at Sam Houston State, and they actually built a brand new building that was dedicated just to the criminal justice studies while I was there, built completely by and they had the grand unveiling at the
Gonna
end
get
of
it.
once it was completely built. They built the building, and then they had a grand unveiling and invited all of the inmates to see what it was for, and it was the School of Criminal Justice that they had just helped build. So that's job. But my mom dropped me off at school, and we're putting all my stuff in the dorm. You look out the window, and she goes, "What's that thing down there with all the barbed wire?" And we're like, "That's the Walls Unit. That's where they execute people in Texas. Like, that's the main one. That they still had old Sparky, all that shit. And they have the museum, the prison museums right there in town, and all that stuff. Walking like a block and a half away from where my dorm was. And so my mom was looking at it and going, "So what happens when there's a prison breakout?" And I was like, "Well, they're not going to come to campus. They're going to leave town." And every time there was a prison breakout, they didn't come up to campus. They left town.
See?
Yeah,
Bo says I'm gonna
I'm
get
fine.
even saltier from eating all my ramen. You jerk.
It's true.
Okay, so you already told us what your degree was in. Did you have a minor or anything?
Yeah, majored in English, minored in business, and that
Okay.
business helped. I was gonna try and run a JCPenney box store by myself for a long time, and they refused to take me seriously or put me through the programs that they were supposed to. So I quit and I started my own business, Angelic Cleaning, which has been running for almost 11 years,
Holy
and I'm
shit.
real good at it, and I make a lot more money than I ever did at JCPenney, and I'm happier.
Holy
So
shit, and
thanks, business.
woo. Why did you want to study at English?
Okay, so I went in for musical theater, and after the first semester, my mom told me that I would never make money doing that and maybe a success or anything. So I quit because I'm an idiot and I listened to my mom and I shouldn't have. So then I went into communication and I was like, well, I'll just be a TV broadcaster or a weather girl or something like that, or work for journalism because I'm good at that shit too. I don't like deadline. I'm not good with them. So I
Okay.
quit that.
Hi, Joey.
And then I said, well, I like reading books and I like writing poems. So I became an English major.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Did you live on campus, off campus, or at home?
I lived on campus.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
What was your
I was an
favorite?
RA.
You were an RA. That's right. You told us.
I was an RA in the dorm and then I was an RM for a hot minute and then I got fired for going on the roof with the key.
Yes.
Yeah, because someone called and thought I was a sniper on the roof. So that's why I got fired from my RM.
What was your favorite subject?
My Shakespeare courses, they were easy.
Okay.
I like Shakespeare.
Did you play any sports or anything?
Fuck no.
Did you have any extracurricular activities?
Yes, a lot. I was there was one semester where I was taking 18 credit hours. I had 3 jobs and I was president of 4 clubs. So I've got a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
I did a lot. But yeah, a lot of it was just student
Bo says,
support
what do you
kind of
do?
stuff. What do you mean?
What do you mean, Bo?
But what do you mean? What do you do? Sorry, it's delayed.
Oh,
so
with a
when you
BA
type
in
something-
English. What?
Shut the hell up. Stop it. Stop it.
Bo, he's such a
I'll sit in the quad and say, oh my god, I'm so totally gonna go far. No.
Sorry, that was really funny.
I'm like, what do you mean? What do you do with a BA in English?
What's your best memory from college?
There was, oh god. Okay, so I had this group of friends that I met through the internet. Because this was new, you guys. This was 2004. This was a big deal, and
That's
there was
right. That
some
was the
kind
start of
group-
Facebook.
Yeah, so my school was the second school because Rice University was the first one. Sam Houston State was the second one to get Facebook, and you had to have a address, so a .shsu.edu address. So I've been on Facebook since 2005. I think it was spring of 2005 or fall 2004. I know it's been a long time. That's why when people
Wow.
ask me stuff about Facebook, I'm like, y'all haven't been on long enough. It's gone through some changes. But there was a chat board called the Fuse.net, and there was a whole bunch of us that were on there, and we would meet up for like lunch and stuff at Belvin Hall, and we'd go out and sit in the quad and say, "Oh my god!" But anyway, we had I'm not proud of this. We had gang wars, and so we formed different gangs. And I was a member of the Stoneface Killers, and my code name was Kneecap Thwacker. And we played pranks on other gangs. And one of ours, I was up visiting one of my friends in his dorm, and I got a call on my flip phone and saying, "Hey, Ange, come downstairs. We've got a mission that we're on." And so I go down, I get into Barker's car, JJ and Barker in there, and Josh is sitting next to me, and I go, "What the fuck is that smell?" And Josh opens a to-go box from a restaurant, and there is human shit inside of that box. I go, "Why do we have a box full of shit?" And they go, "We are going to go put it in so-and-so's tailpipe at his car. And so his
Disgusting.
car will smell like shit when he starts up his car in the morning." And we went over to this parking lot. We found his car. We scooped the poop, put it inside of his tailgate. And then we found out the next day that we had put it in the wrong car. But it was shit like that. And we had Planned Parenthood would always bring us free condoms and stuff. And they were rainbow colors. And so we'd take them over to the fountain in the middle of campus at night and fill them with water and try to have water balloon fights with them. And y'all, condoms don't break that easy.
They do
You
not.
think they would? No. So it was a lot of floating condoms full of water in the fountain. We're those assholes. It was great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Is that the last question? That's the last question on this one.
Aren't you
So
glad
I
you asked?
guess I'll go through with me. So I
Yes. So Flip, where'd you go to college?
I
Tell me
went
about it.
to the University of North Florida.
Nice.
I'm just watching Joey drink his drink over here. He's doing all kinds of weird shit. He's blowing bubbles in here and shit. Anyway. Yeah, I went to the University of North Florida. That's why I scream Duval all the time. Duval. Yeah, I went to the university. Huh?
My eyes from the back of my head.
Shut up, Joey. Yeah, I went to University of North Florida. I started there. I went to University of North Florida right after I graduated from high school. Why would we think they would break easy? Shut up, Bo. I started there, and then for a year, I went to Florida Atlantic University in Boca, and I hated it there. I am not. I'll see y'all next time. What are you covering next? Carrie, maybe we're actually going to talk about that. So once I get done with this, we will let y'all know what we're going to cover next.
But follow our page. You'll see a little
Yeah,
preview
you'll see
photo
some
and everything
preview
too.
photos.
If you gotta
Yes.
go. Like Carrie May.
Yeah, and then I went back to UNF.
Yes.
Yeah, Florida Atlantic University was just not for me. Okay, bye. Yeah, make sure you follow us because you'll see some updates on what we're doing and some previews for what we're doing. Love you. Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Oh, shit. I went to FAU Jupiter.
I'm not done.
Really? Now, I went to the main campus in Marissa says she went to FAU Jupiter. I went to the main campus in Boca. I didn't like it there at all. This is gonna sound so bad, but like everybody I went to school there with was like they were all like rich kids and they all wanted to party all the time and that really wasn't me. Like, so
you're there to learn.
I had fun, but
Okay, good.
I wasn't like there to just like party and do nothing else. So I left and went back to UNF for my junior and senior years. What's next? What was my degree / discipline?
Yes.
So I started out with an elementary education major, and then I switched to secondary education with a focus on social studies and history. And then when I went back to UNF is when I switched to child developmental psychology with a minor in social welfare.
So question, the secondary education, is that supposed to be high school or just middle school?
Middle school and high school. So right now I have I have a teaching certification in
Nice.
secondary social studies / history. But yeah, so then I went to UNF and I did child developmental psychology and social welfare.
That's a hard topic.
Yeah.
And as you're learning about it, the shit you learn is just, it'll ruin you.
Mm-hmm.
And you still stuck with it. You said, this is for me. I can do this.
Yeah. And that's a
Jeez.
lot of why I do what I do now. But I'd like to go back and get my master's degree in forensic psychology so I can get out of social work.
Hell yeah.
All right, where did I live? On campus, off campus, at home. My first 2 years I lived on campus. And then my last 2 years I lived off campus.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, first 2 years I lived on campus in the dorms with my friends. And then I lived in an apartment off campus in Jacksonville my junior year. And then my senior year I lived with Joey.
Nice.
Yeah. Joey,
Yeah.
give me a thumbs up. Yeah, my senior year I lived with Joey.
She chose you. Out of all.
Out of all
Chose
the yeah, right. What was my favorite subject? Human sexual behavior was my favorite subject. That is such a fun class.
Is that where you get to learn why babies masturbate stuff?
Yeah. Human sexual behavior and Crime in America were my two like top classes. Crime in
Yeah.
America I was super, super interested in, and my teacher at the time, I was that kid who like sat like right up in the front. So like my teacher's
hear
desk was like right here, and I was like sitting right here with my teacher, and like she and I would talk about stuff all the time. She would have me do like little like extra credit things where like they were talking about like one day we were talking about sexual offenders and like teachers that are sexual predators and things like that, and they were like, you never see, it's always, and listen, I had some girls who sat behind me, and they had said it's only white males who are sexual predators, like student sexual predators. And then somebody said that's not true. It's white males and females. So then, of course, I was like, that's not true. And I went online and I found some African American, Hispanic, a bunch of different teachers that were sexual predators. And I was like, this is not a race thing. Like, this is just a thing.
This is a people thing. This is a humans are fucked up thing.
You guys just like to do that shit.
Yeah. Well, that's my favorite in the Protecting God's Children course I used to do when people are like, yeah, it's mostly priests that molest. And I'm like, actually, statistics wise, it's volunteer. It's all them volunteers that get involved with kids on purpose. That's who it is. But, you know, whatever.
And then my human sexual behavior class was just so fun. And my teacher was really funny. And he would send us home with like these like documents that we had to do, and if I can ever find them, I will 100%, if I find them, I will 100% send them out to people. I think they might be on my old laptop, so like I'd have to send them out very quickly. But like if you guys,
God,
if that's some shit you guys want, let me know. But it's really funny. It's like he would give us like scales of like, are you a sexual deviant, or like we'd have to like do assignments where we'd walk around campus and like ask like 15 people if they would go on a date with us. And then we'd have to mark down how many people said yes.
Wow.
You don't actually have to go on a date with anybody, but you just have to go around and like mark how many people said yes, how many people said no. And basically that study was really cool because the females were more likely to get people to say yes to them, whether it be male or female, than the males were.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a trip.
So that was just like really fun shit that we did in that class. And the teacher was so funny. Like he would come up to you in the middle of class and be like, how many parties have you gone to this week? Or he'd come up to you and be like, how many sexual partners have you had in the last 3 months of being in college? Like he would just ask you things.
That's so funny.
Because he's like, as he's like teaching, he's like doing assessments on you. It was fantastic. And he himself, like outside of being a teacher, because he was an adjunct, so outside of being a teacher at the college, he was a marriage counselor. So a lot of the stuff that he taught us were based off of the clients that he had, and it was really cool.
I want to take that class.
It was so fun.
That's
like
so
I said, if I can
can't-
ever find any of the documents that I have from it, I will definitely pass them along to people. They were really, really interesting classes.
I changed my answer. I had two other favorite classes because Shakespeare fine. That was my favorite English major one. My favorite class was History of Rock. My second favorite class was Death and Dying, and we learned all about the different death cultures all over the world and the process of burials and shit like that in different cultures, the death penalty and all that crap. But History of Rock and Roll, I'm not kidding. My test, it was like he put it on a big projector, and it's a picture of Madonna in front of a burning cross. All right, what music video is this from? And I'm like, fuck yeah, this is my test right now. This is great.
I'm trying to think what other classes did I like. Sex and gender was okay. Sex and gender is one of the classes where like people talk to me about things, and I'm kind of like, when people talk to me about like, oh, this person's a male and this person's a female, I'm the biggest proponent of gender is fluid. Gender is fluid. Your sex is assigned to you at birth. That is your biological sex. Gender is fluid. And I have to explain that to people, but that's one of those really big topics that we touched on in that class. And my teacher was this little, like, my teacher was this, like, 75-year-old white woman who was like, gender is fluid. And I was like, that is incredible. Like,
Tell me.
yes, tell me that gender is fluid. Like, not trying to say that old people have views that are not modern, just saying that it was very nice to see a college professor with a view that was very modern. Why did I want to study child developmental psychology and social welfare? I've always, okay, so when I started with elementary education, like, I was like, this is what I want to do. And I had said that since I was, since I had started high school, that that's what I wanted to do, that I wanted to teach. My junior and senior year, I was a TA for a social studies teacher who was also, he taught human geography, psychology, and U.S. history. And I was super, super interested in it, and I loved it. And, like, he was a fantastic teacher. He let me TA for him. He was phenomenal. So when I got to college, I was like, this is what I want to do. And then when I got back to UNF, I was like, no, I don't want to do it. And I went with psychology, and it sucks because there's not a whole lot of jobs that you can get with just a bachelor's in psychology. But with my social welfare background, there's a lot that opens up to me, you know? Jeez. But for child developmental psychology, there was just so much fun stuff that I learned that, like, I was like, this is what I'm going to focus on. They asked me if I wanted to focus on adolescents. I hate teenagers.
And I love teenagers. I don't do the only good thing about middle schoolers is that one day they'll be high schooler.
Middle schoolers are the worst.
I don't do under high school. It drives me
Middle
nuts.
schools are the worst.
They're the worst.
But yeah, it was just kind of something that I took an interest in. And then with me wanting to get my master's in forensic psychology, I do a whole podcast about fucking people who murder people.
Yeah, right. I have an interest.
Did I play any sports? Do I look like I played sports? No, I didn't. I didn't play any sports. Any extracurricular activities? I was in choir my freshman year of college. But then I had stopped because at the time, the professor that I had for choir, she would only allow kids who were actually music majors to have solos. So I stopped. And I was like, that's bullshit. That's not fair. So I stopped doing that. And then my junior year, I joined a sorority.
Which one? Because I did too. I forgot to mention that, but yeah.
Kappa Alpha Theta.
Oh, you were in a real one.
I was in a real sorority.
I was in Sigma Tau Delta. There were only 2 branches. It was up school. That's STD, you guys.
I was gonna say.
We're a fucking social sorority. That was it. My job for 2 semesters was I basically dressed in all black, sat in the corner, smoked my cigarettes, drank my alcohol, and made sure nobody hooked up with any of my girls, and then drove them home.
Wow. Yeah.
Hated it.
I am a Theta.
Nice.
Kappa Alpha Theta.
She liked it. What's your little symbol? Yeah, she's got one. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah. And if I was standing, I'd do the sorority squat too.
Knees bent over to the side.
Yes, knees bent over to the side. Right here.
Oh no.
Yeah, my sorority symbol, this, or we would do this one. Because our symbol was a kite, so we'd do this one. Or we would do this one.
That looks like a kite.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I joined Kappa Alpha Theta my junior year. And at that point, I was, Joey, stop blowing bubbles, man. At that point...
Was he drinking milk?
He's drinking some Screwball and almond milk. Is that what's in there?
I'm gonna need him to get some almond milk.
Oh, it's Screwball and Monster Coffee.
At 8:30 at night.
Yeah, he's trying to get fucked up.
He's not gonna stop.
Brittany says, "Why do I relate so hard?"
So what are you drinking?
No, our sorority thing.
She's the sorority stuff, not the drink. No, Joey needs to get that almond milk, put some strawberry quick in that, stir it up, and with a straw you
make strawberry bubbles.
Yes.
But yeah, I joined a sorority my junior year, and I was like, let's do it. and I did it, and I failed 2 classes.
They're supposed to have mandatory study hours for you guys.
We did.
What did you do?
I was taking I was taking 5 physical classes and 3 online classes, working 2 jobs, and in my sorority.
You're like me. That's
Yeah.
bonkers.
So I
That's
lost
too
my
much.
mind. I lost my
Yeah.
mind my junior year of college.
That's too much.
And it wasn't even like, I didn't fail any of like my like main classes. I failed all my bullshit electives because I just didn't do the work. So
I failed bowling. She's one of those. I failed bowling.
no, I had an African American music history class that I did all the quizzes for, but just didn't do the assignments for.
Oh, that sounds so cool. Oh,
It was a really good class, but at that point, when I was in high school, I was in jazz. So a lot of really what we covered in jazz was the same stuff I was covering in African American studies. So that's why I said I passed all the quizzes and tests, but I was just like, I don't have the time to do the assignments.
yeah.
So yeah, but other than that, I was fine. And then I took a British, I took a UK and Ireland. I took a UK and Ireland political studies class.
Oh my god. What is he moving furniture?
No, that's a motorcycle outside. Yeah, I took a British UK. I took a UK Irish political studies class that was horrendous. Simply because I just wanted to take it online and not have to go in person to take the class. It was the worst decision I've ever made.
Nope.
It was so boring, and there were like 35 chapters of material.
Jeez Louise.
And a quiz every week, or a test every 2 weeks, and I was like, I can't do it. And the tests were like 45 questions each.
You don't even live there.
No, I didn't know. I was like, what the hell is the purpose of me taking this? But yeah, so that's what
Optimism.
happened when I joined a sorority.
I'm gonna charge my phone. What was your next question?
My best memory from college.
Yes. What was yours? Something wholesome.
My best memory from college. I would say, okay, so for one of my sorority sisters' birthdays, and I cannot even remember which one, there were like 120 of us. So one of my sorority sisters' birthdays, we had like a scavenger hunt. And I think that's probably like my best memory. Like we did this whole like scavenger hunt, and we drove all over the place and like took pictures of each other in like shopping carts, and like that was so much fun. Like you had to get like pictures of like you pushing your bag in a shopping cart, and like you pumping gas at the gas station. Like I didn't even need gas, but I was at the gas station pumping gas.
That's cute.
Like, because you'd have to like run, if you don't actually need gas in your car, you'd have to run up to somebody else and ask them like, can I pump the gas in your car? So that was a lot of fun. That was a ton of fun. And then we ended up at a party at the Animal House, because that's what we called it. Fraternity houses have names. We ended up at a
Yes.
party at the Animal House, and
You had a party at the one named after the movie.
yeah, we had a party at the Animal
Yeah.
House. I have a shirt like that too. It says college, but with my theta symbol in the middle. But yeah, we had a party at the Animal House, and at least I think it was it was the Animal House. And that was just kind of our fun way to end the night. And then we all had to laugh because we all had to take off our sorority stuff. Because you can't wear sorority stuff when you're at
Yeah.
parties.
No. No letters. Did
No
y'all have
letters.
the thing where if you were going out in public and have on your hair done, you couldn't letter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Little known fact. None of my sorority sisters besides Zuri actually watched this. Zuri is my big. So, when I first joined my sorority, they gave me a book, and I don't even think I still have it. But it wasn't a book. It was a binder. They gave me a binder. And in the binder, it had suggested outfits
Oh my god.
for, like, certain, like, occasions. So it had suggested casual outfits, suggested business casual, suggested formal outfits, suggested, like, date function outfits. Like, it gave us a list of, like, suggested outfits we were supposed to wear, a list of suggested colors to wear, how to wear your hair, how to do your makeup, what shoes to wear per event. I threw that shit in the trash.
She's like, no, I'm not doing this.
I looked at that. They called me, all my friends who are DUs. I love my DUs. They all called me the sorority girl.
Sounds right.
My DUs called me the sorority girl, because I was, like, not the person who was like, I'm fuck your dress code. Like, I'm just doing whatever I want. I'm coming to college to learn. Like, I'm not this person. So, yeah, they called me the sorority girl.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. That's me.
I did. There was one time when I was in our, I think it was Hurricane Rita, followed by Katrina. We were, like,
shit,
right
yeah.
back to back. Yeah. And we were in Huntsville, Texas, which is right over by Louisiana. So we were evacuating everybody, and one of the sorority girls, one of the Kappas, she got, her dad had a private helicopter. And so we got a call that he was coming to pick her and 2 friends up, and they were going to go to Cabo. So for her to get ready to go. Yeah. So we went over to go let me and this other girl begrudgingly let her know your dad with the chopper picked 2 friends. Will be here holding down the fort. And we go in there, and she's got because the only pets you could have had to live in a 10-gallon fish tank. Okay.
Yeah.
5-gallon fish tank. It had to be very small. 5-gallon fish tank. So fish, reptiles, stuff like that.
I ate a turtle.
She had a chihuahua
In her dorm room?
In the fish tank, because she had set up the little bed.
Wait, hold up. You said her chihuahua was in a fish tank?
Yep, because it was a little teacup chihuahua. And so we went in there to say, hey, your dad's ready with what the fuck is that? And she's like, nothing. We go, you cannot have a dog. And she goes, it said I could have a pet if it lives in a 5-gallon fish, and he's in the tank. And legitimately, the dog was in the tank with his little dog bed and food and water.
She's not wrong.
I mean, that's a loophole. She did it.
Yeah, I had a turtle. His name was Koopa.
Aww.
My Koopa
I had
kid.
beta fish. I had a beta fish named, what was it, Malachi? Archimedes, Malachi, and there was one more, and I had 2 of them in one tank with, the divider so they couldn't see each other. Well, the water was too high one time, and Archimedes jumped over to Malachi's and beat the shit out of it. Yeah, and so we had to have a dorm-wide for my fish. And technically, if you still go on my personal Facebook page and you scroll through all the notes, there's an announcement for the dorm about my fish and when the service is being held, and we did a ceremonial flushing of the fish. Yeah. College is great, you guys.
College is a
Go
weird
to the
time.
dorms.
I remember when I was a freshman in college, and there was a sign on the doors, because the RAs put up all kinds of signs for all kinds of events, and the sign on the door said "Pop party downstairs in an hour," and we were like, "What the hell is a pop party?" Tell me why we were putting plants in pots and planting them around campus. Pot party downstairs in an hour.
Oh, that's so bad.
Or the Valentine's Day party where they basically just threw free condoms at you. Or the drug awareness event that we had to have, and you're so extra. Or the drug awareness event that we had where basically the signs all said, so this is like, I went to I went to FAU back in 2012, 2013. So the signs said, there was a song out by Trinidad James.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. Song out by Trinidad James. Was it All Gold Everything? I don't know. But anyway, the sign said, "Pop the Molly, I'm sweating." And And all of the
Jesus.
signs all over campus said, "Pop the Molly, I'm sweating."
No.
And it was like a drug
Wow.
awareness class. Like,
Oh.
that's why I said, like,
wow.
that just shows you, like, times were weird back then. Like, that was a pretty popular
real.
song. Yeah, how did
Ours
we
was-
Trinidad James?
Look, the song that took over our campus was friggin' Soldier Boy. So
Oh my god.
we'd be walking across campus and they would be blasting Soldier Boy up in the
Oh,
and here's my little white ass Superman. Oh,
oh my god.
No,
Yeah.
the best program we ran was a campus-wide ramen cook-off, and we had the only requirement was you had to make this shit in your microwave, and there were categories, and so we had appetizer ramen, main dish ramen, dessert ramen, stuff like that.
Dessert ramen.
We got some tasty ass dessert ramen because you cook those noodles, you just throw away that packet. And then you mix in like vanilla pudding with a little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg, and you have
Vanilla pudding with
best
cinnamon
tasting,
and
like-
nutmeg.
because it's kind of like a rice pudding ish, but with ramen
Huh.
noodles, and you just break it up real small. And people are making this shit in their, door and then bringing it in. I brought a casserole. We're like, what the hell is this? I cut up hot dogs and I mixed this with it and put some chili in that ramen.
Amber,
and da-da-da. So it was like a chili mix.
Angel and her damn hot dogs, bro. Like,
I love hot dogs. Corn dog,
Marissa says that she had a betta fish when Jenna was little. She was 3 years old and she wanted to help clean the tank, so she stuffed it full of baby wipes.
That poor fish.
I had fish when I was maybe like 9, and all of my fish caught the ick.
Oh,
Every last one of them. I had like 10 fish, and they all fucking died.
sounds like you're not meant to have fish.
No, but my Koopa lived a long time. Koopa Kid was a long-term friend.
So
Koopa
you
Kid
can
was a
handle
good
that.
turtle. We found
You can
Koopa
handle a
Kid.
turtle and a cat.
Koopa Kid was. We were walking down the sidewalk, and my roommate Michaela thought it was a rock, so she kicked it. Like, I'm talking like full force, like came back and was like, boof, just kicked this fucking turtle down the sidewalk.
And they went, shit, that wasn't a rock.
And I went, Michaela, what the fuck? That's a turtle. And we picked it up and we took care of it.
Oh,
Koopa Kid.
that poor guy.
Poor Koopa Kid.
Jesus.
He lived a great life.
Okay. Hold on. So we went through your favorite college memory. Were there any other questions?
No, I think that was it. That was my last question. My favorite college
You
memory.
did good.
Thanks.
That's nice. It was great to travel back in time 20 fucking years ago for me. I swear it wasn't that. No, was it that long ago?
No.
Okay, 2000.
No, it wasn't
not
that
yet.
long.
Not yet. 20 years ago was high school almost
Yeah.
for me. I'm old.
I keep thinking about how my high school is gonna have a high school, like our 10-year reunion. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking that.
Possibly. Look, ours they got lazy now because Facebook exists.
Hey, where
So
you
first of
going?
all, I did not have to attend
Yeah.
because I'm aware of everybody I care about and what's
Great.
going on in their life. But two, so they went through and basically made a guest list based off of who's on Facebook that they're still friends with, instead of like looking at people's addresses.
Marcy
and
said it's
contacting
fine.
it's fine. So that's the thing. So like Marcy's like, yeah, what the hell are we going to this thing? I'm like, no, we're not going to this thing. This is stupid. And it's being hosted by people we don't. So we did not go. We
Fair enough.
did not go to our 10-year reunion. And when they have a 20-year,
She said
oh,
she
no, that's
wasn't
right, Marcy wasn't
invited.
invited. That's right, because like I said, they went through their Facebook and did all this shit. And I'm sitting here going, why wouldn't you go through your goddamn year? Like, what about? Because ours, we had the gifted program and the honors courses kids. Well, you also had the neighborhood program kids that were. So what? You guys just invited the honors kids? You didn't invite any of the neighborhood kids that graduated at the same goddamn
Guess
time unless
so.
you thought they were popular enough to go?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. So that's the shit I saw, and I was like, here's the thing, I'm not getting involved because normally my ass would get involved. Not get because the kids that were running it is one, this girl who I can't stand, who I told this in a private conversation with Marcy and then when I was playing Clue with them online the other night.
Mhm.
Because you can play Clue online, just so y'all know. But this one girl, Nicole, we won't say her last name, was my bully all through middle school and high school. And she added me on Facebook twice. So the first time I saw it and I was like, no, delete. She requested me again. And that's the only person that I sent her a private message and said, Nicole, you were so mean to me all through middle school and high school. You ruined my life. Do not ever try to add me again.
She's
Delete.
the worst.
And she was going to be at the reunion. So I was like, I don't need to see her. I'm good.
They went through their Facebook friends. It was kind of stupid.
Yeah, because Trevor didn't get invited either. He went to our high.
What the hell is going on?
Well, so that's what I did. I talked to our group of friends. I was like, we could all just go at the same time and just not go to their reunion. We could just have our own party or just go to like Vegas instead at the same time and have a better reunion.
I don't know.
None of us were popular. We were our own group of popular.
I mean, I like to assume that if my friends, if they decided to do a reunion, they would invite me to it. I don't know if I would go.
Would you host it?
Sure. I think, honestly, the people that I keep in touch with, we can still do that. No, I
Yes, we can.
did, but
We'll host
didn't
our
care about it. Trevor said he did go, but he didn't care about it. Oh, he did get invited, but he didn't care about
We
it.
did get invited, but we didn't care about it.
Yeah, I think I mean, I would host it. The people that I really like keep in touch with, like that they cared about in high school, I keep in touch with. I don't like people that I graduated with. I've got like maybe like 5 friends that I graduated with that I actually keep in touch with on a regular basis. One whose like house, like prior to quarantine times, we did like dinner every week at his house. And then like I still have them all on Facebook. I just don't necessarily chit chat with all of them all the time, but they're all still genuine people that I care about, and like if things happen to them, I would care about them. I don't think I didn't have like somebody who like bullied me in high school because I kind of just did my own thing. Like I was in choir and band and theater. Like nobody fucking bothered me. I just hung out with all the choir, band, and theater kids, and like everybody knew who I was at that point.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Did I have anybody? I have one person that I could not fucking stand. And when I went to college at FAU, she was in my Math for Educators course. And she messaged our teacher and our yearbook teacher from high school and said like, oh, she's in my class. What should I do? And our yearbook teacher was like, just go up and say hi to her. Like,
Yeah.
And
Be a human.
she was like, I can't do that. She's so smart. And she sits up front with all the smart kids. And like, I don't know what to do because I need help. And I was like, this girl wants me to tutor her and I can't fucking stand her. I should just let her fail. But I didn't. I hung out with a couple of the fraternity boys